All right, so Pacquiao defeats Matisse by 7th round TKO. Right off the bat, I realized that Matisse in that first round, he looked concerned from the beginning. And he even may have looked like he wasn't really there to win after that first round. He wasn't there to win the fight. He was just going to try to compete if he could. I noticed that Pacquiao was able to find his range pretty easy in that fight, and he could even relax and afford to get hit with some shots from Matisse because of, number one, how slow Matisse was, and two, he just doesn't move his head. He's a stationary target, pretty much, which could be a recipe for disaster for Pacquiao when you're fighting a guy like Pacquiao, even at the age of 39 or 40 years old, right? Also, this is an example of when you put Pacquiao in there with a guy more or less his size, he usually dominates, especially if they're, a stationary target. Don't move their head. It seemed to me that Matisse, especially after he got knocked down in that third round, I believe. Yeah, it was the third round. He was worried. When you fight worried like that, you tend to look like you're not there to win. You're not really there to win the fight. You're almost there to just survive, if you could. And it kept on getting worse. I think the second knockdown was a clip to the temple when he had like a delayed reaction. That'd definitely do it to you. Pacquiao looked masterful because, number one, he's a great fighter. Second, he had the best opponent to make him look exactly like that. Yes, Matisse is a very dangerous puncher, but that's really all he brings to the table. He may get away with it with certain fighters, but when you're fighting an elite fighter, a legend fighter, that even when he's past his better days, this is the result that you get. This is why, to me, Pacquiao is still an all-time great fighter. Will always be an all-time great fighter, and is still a threat. I think he can beat, or he still has a very great chance to beat the top welterweight fighters, even at the age of 40. That's what I believe. Am I saying he would definitely beat them? I'm not saying that. I'm saying he would have a really good chance of beating these fighters. I think he was in B mode, not A mode, right? He was fighting his B game against Matisse because he realized that Matisse was easy to get to, easy to figure out, take his time, and eventually stop him like he did. I thought Pacquiao looked like he was in great shape going into that fight, great spirit. He was cut up, the whole nine. And I think he has a few more years left in him. Barring an injury, getting old overnight, having a bad fight where it takes something out of him. From what I saw from him on Saturday night, I give him 2 years. 2 more years of fighting that way. Could I see him beating Danny Garcia? Yep, I could see him beating Danny. Keith Thurman? I could see him beating Keith Thurman. Sean Porter, it'll be a tough one. That Pacquiao that fought Saturday night, yeah, he'll have some problems with him. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, they might be too big for him. And since I thought he was fighting his B game versus Matisse, he will be fighting his A game versus those guys if they ever fight. I think that it'll make for a great fight and he will have a chance to win. Now there's all this talks of him maybe fighting Terrence Crawford next or WW Lomachenko. Personally, I hope he tells Bob Arum to go fuck himself and don't fight either one of those guys. But the more entertaining fight to me, or the more the fight that seems more lucrative and a better possibility of happening will be Lomachenko and Manny Pacquiao. And from what I'm seeing from Manny Pacquiao, I think that depending where the fight takes place, if it's a catch weight somewhere in between 140 and 147, pretty much that's where Pacquiao comes in to the ring. At least come in the weigh-in. Pacquiao has a great chance of beating Vasily Lomachenko. So anyway, that is my video. Manny Pacquiao is still a threat to the welterweight division. Anybody from 135 to 147, and I'm sure he could beat some lower level 154 guys. Still a great fighter. A great performance with the perfect fighter in front of him. And I think he can go for another 2 more years. That is my video. Peace.